Hello, Mona Lisa and Nora. I'm fine. How are you? Hello, Tayob. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's 9:39 9:39 a.m. in Cincinnati, Ohio, and it's Friday, May 8th. And I forgot to tell all of my followers happy Cinco de Mayo a few days ago. All right, so yeah, let the games begin. I am here. I am a teacher. If you have questions, you should ask me. You know, the other day, yesterday, no, 2 days ago, I offered free lessons to somebody, or a few days ago, I offered free lessons to one person. And so many people here said, I want free lessons too. I want free lessons too. What are we doing right now? What is this right now? You are getting free lessons right now. You are getting free lessons right now. You're just not taking advantage of it because you don't ask me any questions. You have free lessons. You just don't do anything with it. You just waste them. You get free lessons every day here, 5 days a week. But I just stand here and I wait, and you don't ask me questions. We have to balance the table of 8 legs, but sometimes it's hard to manage consistently. That's true. Yeah, it is. Of course, it's hard to manage. And you can never be completely balanced, but you should try. You definitely shouldn't try to be unbalanced, you know? If you have great vocabulary but terrible grammar, that's a problem, okay? Does your grammar have to be exactly the same level as your vocabulary? No, not exactly the same level, but it would be better if they were closer. If they're closer together, that's better than further apart. Okay? So that's the point. explain about the tenses. Which one? There are 12 tenses. I cannot explain all of them. For that, you do need to pay me. If you want me to teach you classes, then you need to pay me. If you want me to answer questions, that's okay. All right? But if you want me to teach an entire class about tenses, that's a class. That's a course. That's a course even. The most important. Okay, well, simple tense is the most important. Simple present, simple past. Those are the two most important, I would say. Okay? I am eating. I am eating a burger. Yesterday, I ate a burger. Okay? Here's what I will do for you. Let's see, where is it? Here's Basic English Grammar Book 2. Book 2. I need Book 1. One moment. This book, if you need to learn all of the tenses, then I have two books for you. My favorite grammar book is called Basic English Grammar. Okay, it's by a company called Saddleback Publishing, and they have the book is free online right now. Okay, so here it is, right here. I will show it to you. That's book 1. That's the link for book 1 right there. Okay, and this is book 1. I'll show you why I like it. Okay, here it is right here. And book 1, let's zoom in so you can see a little bit better here. Hold on. So let's look at just the first chapter here, like capital letters, right? Look at this. This is about capital letters. And they explain what is a capital letter. The capital letter is also called a big letter or uppercase letter, or sometimes just a capital. Okay, and then they show it to you. And this is what I like: is look at the blue writing. The blue writing here is different. The blue text, so it's easy to see. The whole book is like that, and they give you one explanation and then some questions to answer, to review, right? And then they give you another explanation and some questions to review. Okay? And this book is online and it is free. I just gave you the link, man. I just gave you the link. Okay? We use all the tenses in real life. We do use all of them, of course. Okay? It's just that some of them are more common than others because some situations are more common than others. Okay? Now, if you do a search, you can also find book 2, right? Book 1 and book 2. Saddleback Publishing, Basic English Grammar, book 1, book 2. All right? And book 2 is actually, it's just a review. Again, it's just the basic rules of grammar, and they review it for you again. Okay, so I have probably 60 grammar books, but I use those two more than any other. Okay? Sumana, if you are new, I am a teacher. I'm an English teacher. I am teaching English right now. If you want to learn English, then you can stay here and you can listen. If you have questions about English, then you can ask me. Okay? But be specific. Specific means smaller, okay? General means bigger. So if you say, help me improve my English, or can I improve my English? That's not a good question. That's too big. It's too general. I cannot answer it if it's too big. But if you make it a smaller question, then I can answer it. Okay, so think of specific questions. All right? You moved to Japan for work a year ago. Before I could speak simple English, but now my English is getting worse and my Japanese is not improving. Really don't know how I should do. Okay, well, that's not such a hard problem, Jasper. So, Jasper, your Japanese is not improving. Let's start with that. Why do you think your Japanese is not improving? Why do you think your Japanese is not improving? It's the same link for the same book. What do you mean? To download your book in China, you need to open a VPN? Maybe. I'm not sure. But if you do a search, I think you'll find that book online, maybe in China too. Okay, so here's the name of the book. So search with this. Search for this. Sorry, wait. Search for that. Okay, if you cannot use it without a VPN, look for it in China. Maybe you can find it in China. Okay? Because you can't use it to talk to others. Okay, so Jasper, when you speak English, do you think in English or do you think in Chinese? And when you speak Japanese, do you think in Japanese or do you think in Chinese? Are you translating? Are you translating? If you are speaking English, then you need to be thinking in English. Okay? That's a very important thing when you're learning when you're learning any language. You need to have the language that you think in and the language that you speak need to match. You cannot be just translating everything in your mind because translating is too slow. So you have to teach your mind how to think in the language that you want to speak. Okay? No, that book is not written by me. No, no, no. It's not written by me. It's just a good book. Can I tell you any easy tricks to remember grammar rules? No. Okay, the easy trick to remember grammar rules is to work on grammar every day. That's the easy trick. And Mona Lisa, you need to think about language more like music. When I play music, I don't think about the rules of music. I think about what sounds good to my ears. Okay? I think about what I want to say or what do I want to express. Okay? So, you need to do the same. You need to learn how to feel what language is supposed to sound like. If you know what it's supposed to feel like, then you can use English more easily and you can use it more correctly. And that's why it's so important to listen. Okay? Because when you listen, listening is teaching your mind what it's supposed to sound like. Reading is teaching your mind what it's supposed to look like. If you do a lot of reading and you do a lot of listening, then your mind will know what it's supposed to be. Then when you speak, you're more likely to be right. Okay? Sanjeev says, when I try to speak English, words don't come to my mind so that I can speak fluently. It's a problem for me. So that's what I mean, Sanjeev. The reason why English doesn't come to your mind quickly is because your English is never ready, because you don't use it regularly. You put your English in a box and then you put it in the closet and now it's put away. It's not ready. Okay? But if you're thinking in English every day a little bit, then your English will be ready so that when someone speaks to you, you are ready to speak to them. You didn't put your English away. It's still fresh. Okay? Grammar is definitely a headache. Yes, grammar is a headache. Are there any videos or methods I'd recommend for learning and improving American pronunciation? Frank, the number one easiest way to improve pronunciation in any language is tongue twisters. Tongue twisters. Every language has some tongue twisters, okay? And if you learn those tongue twisters, those are designed to teach you the proper way to make that sound. So if you have trouble with English, find a tongue twister that will help you with the sound that you have trouble with. Maybe you have trouble with the sound of S and SH, so you can practice, she sells seashells down by the seashore. She sells seashells down by the seashore. She sells seashells down by the seashore. And you try to make it a game. Put some rhythm in it. Did you see how I make it bounce? Right? She sells seashells down by the seashore. Right? You make it have a rhythm. Right? If you have rhythm, your mouth will learn it more easily. Okay? It's consistent. Okay? Or Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. And see, tongue twisters teach you to articulate your language. Tongue twisters teach you to articulate your language. Articulation means the correct movements of your mouth. Okay? The proper movements of your mouth to articulate. Okay? Should I set English aside and focus on Japanese completely? I'm not sure. My instinct says no. Don't just put your English away. Maybe you need to kind of create a little bit of a system where you can practice both Japanese and English at the same time, Frank. I'm sorry, not Frank, Jasper. Jasper, try this, okay? For me, with Chinese, when I was when I started learning Chinese, every day I would try to walk around and look and just say, 这个中文怎么说？这个中文怎么说？这个中文怎么说？ right? And that means, how do I say that in Chinese? How do I say that in Chinese? How do I say that in Chinese? And if I don't know the answer, that's my homework. Okay, that's my homework. If I don't know the answer, then I have to go do some homework and find out how. So you could do that with both Japanese and English at the same time, right? So, when you see a car, do you know how to say that car in English? Do you know how to say that car in Japanese? Something like that. Turn it into a little bit of a game where you do both, maybe. Or you could maybe put English away a little bit. Like, do English one day a week. Sunday is your English day. The other days you focus on Japanese because that's what's important in your life right now with work. Okay? Okay, I can read one paragraph each and I can check you. I can, but I won't. That's not exactly an effective way of helping. I'm sorry. I know that you want personal help, but that's not what we do here. Okay? You have to be willing to do work that's group work. Okay? Group work. All right? Take advantage of what you have. Don't try to turn me into what you want. Do you know the band The Rolling Stones, everybody? Do you know the band The Rolling Stones? Yeah, do you know the song? There's a famous song from them. You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. They say, you can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. And then they say, but if you try sometimes, you might find you'll get what you need. That's this room. Okay? You can't always get what you want. You can't always get what you want. But if you try sometimes, you might find you get what you need here. All right? Does Z sound like Z or Z? Z sounds like Z. That's Z. Now, the pronunciation of the letter, when you say your letters, when you say your alphabet, it depends on where you come from. There are, I believe, Australians and Brits, they often say Z, you know. So the European way, or the way of non-Americans is to say Z, but the American way is Z. Okay, if you say Z, Americans won't even know what that is. All right? Thank you, Jerry. What does at a discount mean? If you buy something at a discount, that means that there's a discount on this thing. Discount means to count less, right? Or dis in this case means away or lower, right? So, and then you're making the count lower, right? So this means maybe it's 10% off or 20% off. That is a discount. That's a discounted price, okay? So if I say at a discount, that means you can buy things here at a discount. That means you can buy them here more cheaper, right? Maybe at 10% cheaper, 20% cheaper. That's a discount, okay? A discounted price. All right? Okay, if you are new, then you need to get my file. This is my PDF file. Everything you need to know about me is in that PDF file. If you want to know who I am and what do I do here, that's in the file. If you want to know my schedule here, it's in the file. If you want to know my YouTube and my website and my blog, they're in the file. Okay, if you want to have 4 free articles from my blog, that's in the file too. Okay, so I made that file because I have been on this app for more than 12 years. I have been live streaming here for 4.5 or 5 years. And I have about 90,000 followers. So everybody asks me these same questions again and again and again. Who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? What's your schedule? So I made a file because I can't answer those questions all the time. So just get the file and read the file. That link, all you have to do is copy and paste that link. Okay, right there. Copy that link and paste it into your browser and open it. 中国人，如果你要这个，你可以看我在微信look for me on WeChat. You can find me on WeChat, Nancy. You can't open that link because you're in China. So that's my WeChat. You can add me on WeChat and find me on WeChat, and then I can send you the file. Okay? Andy, you cannot just click on it. It won't open if you just click on it. Copy the link and paste it into your web browser, and then it will open. Okay? No links will open directly in HelloTalk. They just don't. All right? But if you copy it and paste it into your browser, it should work. All right? Now, if you send me a request now in WeChat, you have to wait until later. I can't do all the requests now. I'm busy. I'm teaching. Okay? So I'll send it to you later. All right? You can't always get what you want. All right. You've been learning English puns. Okay, yeah, puns are fun. You did, but the page wasn't found. Well, that's weird because I'm looking at it right now. Try it again. I mean, I'm staring at it right now. This is the link. And this is the page. And if I hit refresh, it's still there. So it works. I don't know why It's not working for you. It's right there. Um, hmm. Sorry, it doesn't work. I wonder maybe. See, Jasper said it works for me. But Jasper's in China. If it works for Jasper, it should work for everybody. See, Emma said Emma's in Iran. Emma can use it. So both Jasper and Emma can use it, but nobody else can? That's weird. Okay, so here's what I'll do. For right now, if you can't get the file, then here. This is my YouTube channel, and this is my website, and this is my blog. Okay? Those are my 3 links that you need. Okay? You're on a phone. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know, Beth. It should work on a phone too. Let me think, Beth. Try this. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, wait. No, let me get rid of that. Beth, can you go here? Can you go there? Try opening that link, Beth. And the first page on that link is my PDF file. So you should be able to open it there on Linktree. 我是英文老师，同时也是我是鼓手。And hello, Nigora, and hello, Belen. Okay, so once again, here's how this works. I am a teacher. I like teaching. I'm here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. About this time. This is when I'm here. Okay? And so many people say, I wish I had a teacher. I wish I had free lessons. I wish I had free lessons. You do. You do have free lessons. The only problem is you go to this lesson and you do nothing. You have free lessons Monday through Friday, but you come here and some of you, you're in my audience doing nothing. Ask the questions that you need to ask. Okay? Yeah, Beth, that's weird. You're in Germany. That's not a problem. I don't know why that's weird. It's a Linktree. Linktree. You guys can use Linktree in Germany, can't you? That's so weird. I don't understand, Beth. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Nancy asks me the question that gets asked here a lot. Why can I understand you, but I can't understand everyone else? There are 3 reasons why. So one reason is because I use a good microphone and good equipment so that the quality of my voice is really good. Okay? And 2, it's because I'm a teacher. Okay? It's because I'm a teacher. And when you're a teacher, you have to speak more clearly and more slowly. And I am an English teacher. So I try to speak English much more clearly than most. Okay? I'm not just an English teacher. I'm an English teacher for non-natives, which means I learned how to speak more clearly for non-natives. Okay? So, 1, it's because I have good equipment. 2, it's because I'm a teacher. And 3, it's because I'm good. Is the difference between British and American accents that there are more pauses in British English and more liaisons in American English? No. Kelly, there are many, many differences between British and American accents. Okay? First of all, America has about 30 accents, and I think the UK has, let me see, I want to say it's about 60. How many accents in the UK? Sorry, English accents. 40 to 50. 40 to 50 different accents in the UK, and there are about 30 in the US. So, which accent are you talking about? If you're speaking about this one, the standard American accent, or perhaps you're speaking about the RP British pronunciation, received pronunciation, the King's English, that's the proper English of Brits. So there are many differences between those two. The pronunciation, yes, is different, but we also have vocabulary differences, right? Like we say apartment and they say flat, and we say elevator and they say lift, and we say the trunk of the car and they say the boot of the car. There are some grammar differences. Okay, there are just a few, but there are a few grammar differences in British English and American English. But as far as pauses go, no. That's completely and totally stylistic and individual. And that means that there are some people in the UK who speak English very quickly with no pauses. And there are some people in the UK who speak it more slowly with more pauses. I use many pauses when I speak. I love to use silence. Silence is very effective to help you listen. Okay? If you fill every bit of time with sound, nobody can really listen to you. So it's the spaces between sound that actually matter more. When you have spaces between the sound, it gives you time to listen. Okay? All right. Do I use the word bottleneck just in business context? No, Carolina, the term bottleneck is used anytime something becomes clogged like a bottle, right? So perhaps if I have a bottle and I put a lot of, let's say I put a bunch of coins in that bottle, right? The bottle at the bottom is big, but at the top it's small. So when I try to pour the bottle out, the coins will become stuck in the small exit, right? There are too many coins trying to get out. That is a bottleneck. Anytime there is a large number of something trying to get out of a small exit, that's a bottleneck. Okay, you can use that for many, many contexts, not just business. Okay? Yeah, Beth, I don't know why. Emma's in Germany too. That's weird. Okay. Is there a lot of American connected speech? Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Can I explain the difference between an embassy and a consulate? Okay, that is a little tricky, but let me check a couple things first. Uh, so, the difference between an embassy and a consulate, the main difference is an embassy is mostly about the diplomatic relationship between that country and another country, right? So if you have an embassy in a place, the primary function of that embassy is about the relationship that your country has with this country. Okay, so they're focused on more of the government and the diplomats, all right? A consulate is focused more on the citizens. So maybe you're in France, right? But there's a German consulate and you're German, so you go to the German consulate to get consultation, right? Counsel, right? You want to ask some questions or you need some help about something. So a consulate is focused more on the citizens and the people, and the embassy is focused more on the diplomats and the relationship between the country. Now, sometimes they do cross over, of course, okay? What kind of English is spoken in Ireland? Well, that'd be Irish English. Irish English is derived from English, but it has Celtic background. It has history in that country, so they have their own accent. Okay? Yes, Gaelic. That's right, Gaelic. Yes, consult and consulate are related. Yeah. So a consul. Let me check. Let me check something. Wait. Are they cognate? Consulate, government, right? Yeah, it comes from the word consul, which. Wait a minute. Yeah, yeah, it's related to the word consult, to consult. In Roman days, a consul, consul, was a government position. It was somebody who they would consult the Senate. They would talk to the Senate, right? For the people, I guess. Yeah. And that's where we get the word consultation, to consult. Okay? I look very tired. Do I look very tired? No, I don't. I'm drinking coffee. I'm not very tired. I'm okay. Am I going to go out? Not right now. No. How do scary and horror differ? So, scary is the more common word. We say something is scary. Okay? The word horror, that's where we get the word horrible, right? And horror movies, right? So a horror movie is a movie that's really, really scary. Okay? So horror is an advanced form of being scared. Okay? So I'd say horror is stronger than scary, but for example, if I say that crash was scary, that's bad. If I say that crash was horrifying, that's worse. Okay? If I say something was horrifying, then I was really, really affected by it deeply in some terrible way. If I was scared, that just means like, oh, wow, that was close. I almost got hit by a car. That was scary. Okay, scary, but not horrifying. Okay? Okay? When do you say kids and when do you say child? Well, kids is plural and child is singular. So you could say kids or children. Those are about the same, right? I see some kids over there. I see some children over there. Okay, I see a kid. I see a child. Those are the same. Okay, kid is the more informal word. Child is the more formal word. That's the only difference. Okay? Why am I standing? Because I like to stand when I teach. I think it's weird to teach sitting down. Okay, so I always feel better when I'm standing when I teach. Because a teacher always stands, right? You should be moving. You should be not just sitting there, And it's better for my back if I can move around a little bit. Okay? I like to move. I like to move and dance, I like to do the Trump dance. The world's worst dancer. Match, fit, and suit. Match is about the sameness of something. So two socks will match. They match. They're the same sock, right? But if you have two socks, maybe one is black and one is white, both might fit you. They might fit. They might be the same size. So fit is usually about size or style, okay? But so you could have a white sock and a black sock, and they don't match, but they do fit. Okay? But two black socks, they match. Two white socks, they match. Two big shirts, they match. Two small shirts, they match. Right? So match is about similarity of something. Okay? It could be similarity of color. So, for example, if I have, I do. I have a gray coat and I have gray shoes. So my coat and my shoes match the color. Okay? They match. Now, fit is usually about size. Is it too big or too small? It doesn't fit if it's too big or too small. If it's just the right size for you, then we say this fits well. It fits. Okay? Now, sometimes the word fit is about style. Like, for example, if I have shorts and a t-shirt, that's not the right fit of clothing for a funeral. If someone died, I shouldn't be wearing a shorts and a t-shirt to go to their funeral. That's not appropriate clothing. So it doesn't fit. All right? It's not with the same style. Yeah, appropriateness. Okay? Now, suit, if we say that suits you well, it means it's good for you. It's good for you that way. All right? So if I say, oh, I like that new outfit you have. It suits you. That means it looks good on you, right? Or maybe somebody bought a new dress and you say, ooh, I'm sorry, but that dress just doesn't suit you. It just doesn't look good on you. Okay, so it's not about fit and it's not about matching. It just is about doesn't look good on you. It's not a good choice. Not a good choice. Okay? This is the first time you've seen me standing. Well, sometimes I sit and sometimes I stand. That's the way humans do. Okay? Maybe today you can't sit. I can sit. That's a weird thing to say. Devoid versus depriving. Let me think about my answer for a minute. If something is devoid, it means it has none of that. Okay? The word void, a void means a space with nothing. A space with nothing. So if something is devoid of blah, 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 you can say he was devoid of truth. That means he's lying all the time. Okay? So it means he has no truth. He's devoid of truth. There is no truth. A void of truth. Okay? Excuse me. But the word deprive is about taking something away from someone or keeping something away from someone. So, for example, let me give a good example. If you're in jail, and I'm not feeding you, right? You're in jail, but I'm not giving you food, then I am depriving you of the ability to eat. There's a good one. Thank you, Emma. Sleep deprived means that you have not had enough sleep recently. So now you don't have enough, right? So to be deprived means that there's too little of something because something took it away. Okay, now, when we say sleep deprived, that usually means you have been too busy or have not gotten enough sleep for yourself. So that's kind of a weird way to use it, only because you're personally responsible. Okay, but it's common to say, okay, but I just want you to understand that the term deprive is often used when someone is keeping somebody else from having something. Okay, so for example, your neighbor, right? I'm a drummer. What if I play drums all the time? I play drums at night and you can't sleep. So now I am depriving you of sleep. Okay? I'm taking your sleep away. Okay? What's the difference between stomach and belly? Sometimes nothing. Okay, he hit me in the stomach. He hit me in the belly. I have a stomach ache. I have a belly ache. Those are pretty much the same. Okay, but we won't say I have a fat stomach, but we will say I have a fat belly. So belly is more about the outside area, right? Like when lady, we usually say a beer belly. He has a beer belly, right? So if you have like a bit of a stomach here, right, coming out, then that's called a beer belly. If it's too big coming out, that's a belly, right? Stomach is inside. Okay, so your stomach is the organ inside you that is responsible for not production, processing, right? To process the food that you eat, right? That's what it does. But your belly is just this area, okay? How and when do people use the idiom rock the boat? Rock the boat means somebody is disturbing the group, or that you're going to do something that will disturb the group. Okay, so if you're in a boat with 10 people, and then I stand up and I start doing this in the boat. What's going to happen to the boat? Now everybody in the boat is going, oh my God, oh geez, what's he doing? So they'll say, hey Mark, don't rock the boat. It means don't make trouble for everyone. Don't cause a problem for everyone. Okay? Don't cause trouble is the general idea. Okay? So maybe if you're maybe you're at work, right? You're at work and everybody is deciding where to go to lunch, right? You're going to go to lunch together, right? And everybody says, oh, we're going to go to lunch at the Italian place, okay? But you hate Italian food. You don't like Italian food for some reason, okay? But you didn't say anything. You didn't say anything because why? Because you don't want to rock the boat. Everybody else is happy with Italian, so you don't want to cause a problem, so you don't say anything because you don't want to rock the boat. Okay? Touch and go. What does that mean? Touch and go means something could change at any moment. Something could change at any moment. Let me see where that comes from. I'm not sure where that comes from. Touch and go comes from... Wow, that's really old. I'm surprised that's that old. I thought it would be a newer creation. So the first recorded use of the term touch and go was used in 1549. It says, as the text doth rise, I will touch and go a little in every place. So touch and go means a precarious or uncertain situation, a situation that could change at any moment. Okay? So what that means is if you touch it, it could go in a different direction. If you touch it here, it goes in this direction. If you touch it here, it goes in a different direction. Touch and go. All right? It means it's a very precarious situation. It's a situation that could change very easily. Okay? It's touch and go. Am I admiring my brains rolling? You mean when I think about my answers, when I do this? Yeah, I do that. That's actually true. When you think about things, we do tend to actually look up to imagine them. And it makes it easier. You should do it. You should try it. But yes, if I think about my answers, then yes, I look up and think. All right? It's not my cup of tea. Do people use it in real life? Yes, we do. It just means I don't really like that thing. Okay? Maybe somebody gave you a new record, a new album, new music. And then they said, hey, do you like this new music? And you say, it's not really my type of music. I don't really like it. It's not my cup of tea. Means it's not for me. Maybe it's okay for you, but I don't like that type or that style. Okay? What sport do I play? I don't play sports. You blocked one guy on this app because he said you have a tummy? Yeah, that's rude as hell, Susu. But Susu, I've had lots of people come here and tell me I'm fat. I've had people come here and tell me I'm old. I've had people come here and tell me that I'm ugly. I've had people come here and tell me that all kinds of terrible things. Welcome to the internet. Could you say I am not who's rocking the boat here? Yeah. You could say I'm not the one rocking the boat. Means I'm not the one causing the problem. Okay? Accurate and correct. Both are synonyms. What's the difference in usage? Let me think. Accurate is more about being close to the actual number, right? So if I say how many people are in the club, and you say about 100, I say I need an accurate number. About 100 is not an accurate number. It's not close enough to the actual number. Okay? So accurate means exactly, okay, something. But correct is just correct, right or wrong. Okay? So sometimes, yes, you can say that's not accurate, and that means that's not correct. But the word accurate usually is talking about how close are you to the actual number? Okay? Are you saying the actual number or about 100? About 100 is not accurate. 99, that's accurate. Okay? Why are people so weird? What is wrong with you? Hello, Sparkle. Once in a blue moon. A blue moon, there is a real thing called a blue moon. And it happens once every, 2 or 3 years, I think? Yeah, about 2 or 3 years. Every 2 or 3 years, we have something called a blue moon. The moon is blue, all right? But that happens only once every 2 or 3 years, so it doesn't happen often. So when we say, once in a blue moon, I go to that restaurant, that means I don't go there often. I go there once a year, maybe. Once every couple years, I go to that restaurant. Once in a blue moon. Okay, not often. Okay? Not my type. Yeah, not my type means I don't like that thing. It's not for me. Okay? That's not my type of music. Okay? Touch and go sounds like you're in an unstable environment. That's usually what it is. Yeah, touch and go often means things are not good. Like, this could change at any moment, probably in a bad way. That's usually when touch and go is used, okay? In most cases, I think it's a bad thing usually, or you're in a bad situation. So that means everything is touch and go right now, so just be careful, all right? All right. What's the pattern on my hat? It says Sun Valley Resort. It's a ski resort. I did a performance there a year ago, 2 years, a year and a half ago, something like that. I did a performance there, and they gave me a hat. Okay, where can I use been? Been is used, it's a past participle of the verb to be. So it describes things that are completed or things that are ongoing, right? So if I say, I have been to France twice, I went there and I returned 2 times, okay? So I have been, all right? So that's for experiences. Things that you have experienced, you use I have been, okay? Or she has been sick since Monday. That means on Monday she got sick and she's still sick now. Okay? All the way through. All right? So that's ongoing. All right? Or you can say they have been waiting for an hour. That means that they are still waiting. They waited for 1 hour and they are still waiting. All right? And I had been working there for a year before I quit. That's something that happened in the past. I started working there a year ago before I quit a year in the past, right? So both are in the past, right? They're two things that happened in the past, all right? And then the final way to use it is a passive way. The passive way of using been is to say the papers have been signed. They've been signed. It was completed, right? It's done. Okay? It's when the subject is receiving an action. Okay? All right. Even though he said it was just a joke, I know now it's actually rude. Yeah, but Susu, sometimes jokes are rude. You know? Some people don't know that there are some jokes that are rude, you know? Marco says, I invented an idiom. Oh, that's cool. Would you please translate it correctly into English? I can try. Sure. What's the difference between exactly and precisely? Nothing. Those are synonyms. It is exactly 2 o'clock. It is precisely 2 o'clock. Those are synonyms. They mean the same thing. Okay? Again, the pattern on my hat says Sun Valley Ski Resort. It's a ski place. Okay? I did a performance there. What's the obsession with my hat? Okay, let's see. Social networks are the washing machines of friendships, but real friendship is a delicate robe, so you have to work it by hand. Interesting. Okay. No, Marco, that's a good translation. I understand that perfectly. That means that a quality friendship is something that requires attention and care, right? So that's like a delicate robe that has to be washed by hand, right? And social networks, when you have friends there, it's like the washing machine. It's just a bunch of clothes that are thrown together, and you don't really have that much care for each one. Okay, sure, it's a good analogy. Please make sentences with touch and go. Okay, hold on. So in a medical situation, maybe somebody had a heart attack and they're in the hospital, and they're critical, right? They're very, very sick. They could die. They could die at any moment. So that means you'll say everything is touch and go right now. Means that it could change at any moment and it could get worse. Okay, it's touch and go. All right. So in a medical situation, in a business situation, maybe you have a restaurant, a new restaurant, and it's the first year of the restaurant. Restaurants, that's a difficult business to make money. So the first year of your restaurant is touch and go, because maybe business will be bad and then you'll be out of business, right? That's touch and go. Maybe you're at the airport and you're waiting for a flight, but you don't know if the flight is going to make it or not. They canceled one airplane and now they're waiting for another one. Everything is touch and go. You don't know what's going to happen. It depends on them and the situation and what happens next. Okay? Let me think. Any other good examples? Yeah, I think those are the best examples. Okay? If you want my schedule is in this file. If you want my schedule, it's in that file. Copy that link, paste it to your browser, and open it. And you can find everything you need to know about me. Okay? Gwen, what is set fire with fire? No, it's fight fire with fire. We say fight fire with fire. Means if somebody is saying bad words to you, then you use bad words. If somebody is somebody is hitting you with a stick, then you should get a stick and hit them too. So they are fighting with fire. So you should also use fire when you fight back against them. That's what fight fire with fire means. Okay. You have critical questions in grammar. Okay, Kareem, what are they? What do you need to do to talk to me on stage? Sergey, if you have a question and want to talk to me on stage, raise your hand and you can come on stage and I'll help you. You're a regular. You've been here a lot. So if you come to my class and I see you participating and I see you asking good questions and being polite in my room, then I will help you. Okay? If you are new, I won't help you yet because you're new. I want to see you come to my class. If you come to my classes and I see you, then I will help you. Okay? That's how it works here. All right? You have to show me a little bit of loyalty before I will help you on my stage. But if I see you and I know that you are coming here regularly to study, then yes, I will talk to you. Okay? So, Sergey, if you can just give me 1 minute to try to if you can give me 1 minute to finish answering questions here, then I will talk to you on stage. You have to raise your hand, though. There's a button that you have to raise your hand, okay? All right, let's see. Please be patient. I'm trying to answer all the questions. How old am I? I am older than the flowers and younger than the mountains. Do we use the idiom throw someone under the bus? Yeah, it gets used. As a matter of fact, I just heard it used yesterday. It's used in politics all the time, Carolina. Right now in politics, anytime somebody is in trouble in politics and then they say, well, I didn't do it, this person did it. They're throwing you under the bus. They're saying, don't look at me, it wasn't me, it was that person. That's called throwing somebody under the bus. And it happens in politics all the time. Okay? Or business. A disease called hantavirus has emerged. What do I think about it? I'm not worried about it yet because the way that it spreads is not as dangerous as some other viruses. Currently, the way that this virus spreads is not really, really transmissible. Okay, there's only one variant that's super transmissible between humans. And even then, it requires you to have really close contact, like sleeping in the same bed or sharing food or something like that. Okay, you can't just be in the same room. If I'm in the same room with somebody with hantavirus, I'm not going to get sick. So that's different. It's not airborne yet. If it becomes airborne, that's a problem. Okay? Let's see. You don't understand how to change a fourth sentence pattern into a third sentence pattern. Can I explain it? Okay, I hate when they talk about language like this because that's such a terrible way to think about language. But this is like if I said, he gave him the money. He gave him the money. That's the fourth sentence pattern. But if I want to change it to the third sentence pattern, then I will say, he gave the money to him. Okay? He gave him the money. I'm talking about him, right? Subject, verb, indirect object, direct object. Okay? But if I say he gave the money to him, now I'm talking about the money that I gave to him. All right? So, get rid of the person or thing. Get rid of the person or thing that is receiving something. So, for example, let me think. She told a story. That's third sentence pattern. She told me a story. That's fourth pattern. So she told me a story. Now let's get rid of the me. She told a story. Okay? So fourth sentence, she told me a story. Third sentence, she told a story. Okay? Get rid of the person. And now it becomes third. Okay? How is business English different from general English? Business English is different from general English for two reasons. One, because in business, they expect you to use a certain kind of formal language. You can't say, what's up, dude? What's up, bro? Hey, man, that's so cool, man. That's so awesome. That's skibbity riz. No, that is childish language. Okay, now, guess what? There are some business bros today who I hate. I cannot stand. Almost all the tech bros. The tech bros make me crazy as an English teacher because they speak like they're in high school still. Grow up. Your language should grow as you grow. If your language did not grow, then guess what else did not grow? You. Yeah, language is the way we show our maturity. It's one of the most important ways to show that you are mature. Can you use mature language or not? So in a business environment, they expect you to use mature language. One. Two, business language is about business, and it must be current. Okay, so 30 years ago, they used to use fax machines all the time for business. So if you get a business book from 30 years ago, it will talk about fax machines and how important the fax machine is. Okay? But we don't really use them that much anymore. We do for some things, but not for most things. All right? So now you have to know about email, and you have to know about computers and social media. So business English must stay current. It has to be updated. Okay? You can't learn business English from 25 years ago. Okay? more I wanted to say is that I have one, that one has to live a real friendship in person. Yeah. But I think, Marco, I honestly think that I can tell you that intent matters. Intent is very important because I have 90,000 followers here on Hello Talk. And that's nice. I like that. It's okay, great. 90,000 people know me a little. Okay? But there are a few people here who I do know, and they are my friends. I consider them to be my friends. They're people who I would help if they need help. Okay? So, but my relationship with them is mostly online. Okay? So, family has always been not really about blood. Family is more about who makes you feel like family. The Italians, they know that better than anybody, right? That was what we learned from Italian history in the Renaissance during the 1500s, when they started realizing that, hey, the name of your family is maybe not as important as, or I should say, your name and position are maybe not as important as your ideas. If you have good ideas are that's the important thing. So if the good idea comes from this second cousin, then that's fine. It's a good idea. It doesn't matter if he's not the head of the family. He has a good idea. We should listen to it. Okay? So feudalism and monarchy taught us the idea that the king is the smartest guy, and every idea he has is brilliant, and anybody below him is not as smart as the king. But that's not the way it really is, right? Yeah. Anyway, okay. Let's see. Kelly. Okay, good night, Kelly. We say, don't worry a lot, money is touch and go. Okay, yeah, sure, you can say that. Okay, if you need a book for grammar, yes, I have a book for grammar. It's right here. This is the best grammar book that I have. Okay, it's online and it's for free. Okay, that is the #1 grammar book to use. Okay? Okay, let me think. Let's see. Hello, Lynn. Good to see you again, too. Fraught with danger. Yeah, that's the right way to say it. Do you have a question about that, Vicky? Fraught with just means filled with. Okay. To John, I did explain how to change a fourth sentence pattern into a third sentence pattern. One more time, if you just get rid of the indirect object, okay? So if you have sentence 4, the pattern sentence 4, you have a subject, you have a verb, you have an indirect object, and you have a direct object, okay? But if you just want to make it in sentence pattern 3, all you have to do is get rid of the indirect object. Okay, the indirect object. So if I say she told me a story, she is the subject, right? Told is the verb. Me is the indirect object. Me. That's the indirect object. And then a story. That's the direct object. Okay, but if I get rid of the me, and I just say she told a story, That's third sentence pattern. Okay? Okay, please be patient, everybody. Let me think. What is an inverse sentence structure? That's just when you say, you are hungry or are you hungry, right? For asking questions, that's one. Or when you say, a tall tower is there, a tall tower stands there, or there stands a tall tower. Or you can say, I have never seen such a mess, or never have I seen such a mess. That's just, we just switch everything backwards. That's inverting. Okay? Let's see. What do you think about the Cambridge certificate? I don't know too much about it. I don't really know too much, so I can't really tell you. Hit the nail on the head. Yeah, that means to know something exactly, to say something exactly correctly. So if somebody has an answer and you think that's the perfect answer, that means they really hit the nail on the head. So a nail is the thing that you pound into wood, right? You use a hammer and you pound it into the wood, right? And if you hit the nail perfectly, then you get a good hit. So if you have a good idea, it's like, oh, that's the perfect idea right there. He hit that nail right on the head. That's the perfect hit. That's what that means. It means that's a great idea. Okay? Hi, teacher. I have a question. If there is an interview and I need to talk about technical stuff, but I just did introducing myself and talk about other things, what can I do? SK, for an interview, you mean a job interview, not a school interview, right? In my experience, what's the most common mistake learners make when aiming for fluency, and what strategies can we help to avoid it? Nadia, the most common mistake is that learners don't learn how to think in English, right? So every time they need to speak, they have to think about it in their language first and translate to English. That is the biggest mistake that everybody makes, and I made it too. Okay, when I was learning German, nobody told me about thinking. They didn't even talk about thinking. They just said you need to learn how to read and write and listen and speak. That's all they said. Okay, so every time I would speak German, I would try to think about it in English first and then translate it to German. That is the wrong way to do it. It's too slow. You can't do it that way. So I teach everybody that you have to learn how to read and write and listen and speak. But the most important thing that you must learn is how to think in English. Because if you can't think well in English, then how can you read or write or listen or speak well in English? So I say that thinking is like the platform that reading, writing, listening, and speaking stand on. Okay, so if you want to have strong reading, writing, listening, and speaking, then you must have strong thinking, your platform. Okay? Almost spilled my drink. Okay, let's see. What is wheeling and dealing? That just means making business. Doing a lot of business is wheeling and dealing. Okay? Making deals. Okay? Wheeling, I think, let me check the history, but I think I know where this comes from. Yeah. So the term wheeling and dealing, it comes from gambling, right? When you play in gambling, sometimes you have the roulette wheel, right? It's the one that you spin, right? Or I'm sorry, it's on the table, right? You spin that one on the table. Or they have other games where you spin a wheel, right? And the wheel goes around, and when it stops, that's, are you winner or loser, right? So wheeling and dealing is talking about making deals and taking risks, okay? What's the importance of difference between the third and fourth sentence patterns? Um, wow, that's hard to explain. Let me think. I mean, really, just it's a matter of uh, expressing yourselves more or more clearly. Wait a minute. No, no, no. So it's just, yeah, it's just a different way of describing the whatever happened, right? So it's just a different way to describe things, whether you're describing it directly or indirectly. That's the only difference, okay? Can I please tell you how to improve yourself quickly in English? No, I can't. Haifa, if there were a secret, then everybody would do it. There are no secrets in language learning. There is only hard work. Now, there are better ways to learn and worse ways to learn, but there are no secrets. Okay? So, Haifa, learning a language is like learning a musical instrument. So, what you just said is, can you tell me how I can be a master of piano in 1 year? Can I be a master of piano in 1 year? Please tell me the secret. That's a fantasy. There is no way to become a master of anything in 1 year. Okay, but especially a language. If I said to you, I'm going to study Arabic for 1 year and I will be a master of Arabic in 1 year, you would laugh at me. And you should. Because do you know what the word master means? You cannot be a master in 1 year. There are no masters that are 1 year masters. Doesn't exist. Okay, so if you want to learn, come here, listen, ask good questions. Okay? Spot on means yes, correct. I agree. Yes. Okay, talking about third conditional. I'll help you with that, Kareem. I'm going to give you a great way to do that. Let me think. What is it? Kareem, this is a website, and it's called GamesToLearnEnglish.com. GamesToLearnEnglish.com is a free website, and here it is right here. If you go to this website, you can scroll down and look. They have all these games for English. All games for English. It's free, okay? And if you go down, they have one here. Where is it? Conditional sentences. Let's look at this game. Let's view it. So here's first conditional, and you wanted third conditional. So let's go to third conditional. Third conditional is talking about, look, it says, if I had brought an umbrella, then I would be dry. So this is talking about something that you did not do, but you're imagining that you did, right? So if I had brought an umbrella, then I would be dry. But I didn't bring an umbrella, so I am wet. Okay, so we're talking about things that are not real in the future that you imagined, right? Okay, if I had brought an umbrella, okay? And if you just play this, look, you can hit start. If you hit start, it'll play a game, okay? If the sun is bright, then what? Wear
sunglasses. If it snows,
then make a
snowman.
Okay?
If it is windy,
then fly a kite. Okay? And then it'll do all of these conditionals for you. All right? If you just practice those for like
if you sunbathe,
a week, you'll be fine. Okay? All right. Please be patient. I'm trying to go as fast as I can, but there are many, many questions. Should you try to speak based on grammar rules when speaking? Is that the correct way or not? Shri. Grammar is the glue of language. So when you have good grammar, your language is strong and powerful. And if it's strong, it hits people harder. So your grammar makes your language have power. If your grammar is weak, people might understand you, but they won't really be moved by you. Your words won't really hit them. There's no magic. So if your grammar is weak, your words have no magic. But if your grammar is strong, then your words have good power. They have magic. People will listen to them. Okay? So, should you worry about grammar? Yes and no. Sometimes you do need to worry about grammar. If you're in school, yeah, worry about grammar. If you're studying English and taking the test, like the IELTS test or the TOEFL test, yeah, worry about grammar when you take the TOEFL test, right? If you have a job that uses English, then probably you need to worry about grammar, okay? But if you're just hanging out with your friends and you're watching a movie on TV, don't worry about your grammar, but just think about it a little bit, okay? So work on it, but don't worry about it, because worry is a bigger problem. When you worry, you get nervous. If you're nervous, it will be worse. So I don't want you to worry about your grammar, but I want you to work on your grammar. So I tell everybody that grammar is like your kitchen table. Grammar is like your kitchen table. You have a table in your kitchen, and sometimes you eat there. And when you're finished eating, you need to clean the table. Right? So you clean that table a little bit every day, right? That's like grammar. You're never finished with grammar, Okay? And you don't worry about your kitchen table. You don't worry about it. You just clean it a little bit every day. So don't worry about your grammar, but just clean it a little bit every day. All right? Okay, next question. Thank you very much, Nadia. Oh, look at that. You can download the file in Zhijiang. That's interesting. 我不会说中文，为什么你问我这个问题？ Okay, Susu, no problem. What does topsy-turvy mean? That's not a thing we use that much anymore. Let me check something. Where does that come from? Interesting. Okay, so the term topsy-turvy, it describes something that is in a state of chaos, something that's chaotic, or something that is turned upside down. And the term topsy just means the top, right? The top side of something, right? The top side of something is the top. Okay? But the word turvy comes from an old English word that we don't use anymore. The word turve, T-E-R-V-E, we don't have this word anymore, but the old word turve meant to turn over something, right? So when something is topsy-turvy, it means it's chaotic, right? It's chaos, like crazy. Everything is upside down. Okay, that's what topsy-turvy means, okay? Okay, gimmick. A gimmick is usually, it's something that we use in business, right? It's like a little trick that you do to get people to listen to you, or a little trick that you do to get people to buy something. It's a gimmick, right? So this word, the word gimmick, interesting. Hold on a minute. So when this word started, it meant a trick that somebody used to con you, like to trick you, to steal your money, right? So it was some kind of a tool or some kind of a method or something that you did to get people to try to gamble or something like that so that you could trick them. Okay, so the term gimmick started as a word meaning to trick somebody into doing something for business. But now the term gimmick, it's still a similar meaning, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily bad all the time. Okay, so for example, let me see. Okay, so now they have a kind of toothbrush. The toothbrush, if you use it too much, over time, it will change color. And that tells you that your toothbrush is too old, right? So you should buy a new one. That's a gimmick. That's a gimmick. Do you really need that? Do you really need a toothbrush that changes color in order to tell you when to change it? No, just buy a new toothbrush every year. Right? But people like, oh, but it changes color. That's cool. Wow. That's a gimmick. Okay? It's a trick they use to get you to want to buy it, right? Or maybe when you buy a Happy Meal at McDonald's. If you go to McDonald's and you buy a Happy Meal, they give you a little toy. There's a toy in the Happy Meal. Why? That's a gimmick, because the children, your children, will say, I want the toy, I want the toy. So the toy is a gimmick to get you to buy the thing. Okay? Okay, and sometimes the term gimmick, we use it when we're talking about things that are like a fad. So it's something that's popular now, but that, next year everybody will forget about it because it was a gimmick. It was just a little trick that now everybody knows, so it's not special anymore. Okay? All right. What's the difference between retarded and dumb? So, Kareem, the word dumb is the more common word that you can use that just means somebody who's not smart. So, dumb means not smart. The word retarded we don't use really anymore because it's too, it's not the right way to say it, okay? Retardation, mental retardation. To retard something means to make it slower. So the term retarded comes from the word mental retardation, which is a real term about a real kind of developmental problem. So some people's brain, they don't develop as quickly as everyone else, right? Their brain is slow. That's called mental retardation. Now, when I was a boy, we used to use that word a lot. We would say, he's retarded, and they're retarded, and that's retarded. But now we don't use that word anymore because we feel it's not cool. It's not the right way to say it because there are real people who have a real problem. And now you're just saying anybody who's stupid is like that. That's not the right way to do it. So most smart people today don't use the word retarded anymore. Okay? I'll say that clearly. Most smart people. There are lots of dumb people who love to use that word. Okay? Okay. Hello, Natalia. Should you prepare a topic for speaking to anyone? You can prepare a topic, sure. Preparing a topic is one way to have a conversation, but most conversations are not prepared. They're improvised. So if you want to have a good conversation with someone, all you must do is be curious. Be curious. Oh, you work at that building? Oh, that's interesting. I always wanted to know what they do there. Tell me more about your job. How long have you worked there? Do you like that job? That's interesting. Oh, you moved here from France? Wow, what part of France are you from? Be curious, that's all. It's not hard. Okay? Don't be rudely curious, like asking some questions, like, how much money do you make? It's not a good question. If you don't know my middle name, then you don't get to know how much money I make. Okay, if I don't know you, I don't know you. Why are you asking me a personal question? Okay? Mandrakata. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. All right, Sergey, thank you so much for being so patient, Sergey. Wow, Sergey is the patience that I always wish that I had. Sergey, are you still there?
Hello, Mark.
Hello, Sergey. Thank you so much for being very, very patient. Sometimes when somebody says, can I come on stage, I can get them on stage very quickly. And sometimes I say, wait a minute, I need to finish answering some questions. And today it took a long time. There were so many questions.
Well, to be honest, yeah, by the way, hello, everyone. Hello, people. Hello, guys. Hello, the world. Yeah. Hello, everyone who really cares about Mark's live stream.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Well, yeah, to be honest, sometimes, I hoop from a live stream to another, but your stream probably like a sticky, sticky? Yeah, is it sticky live stream?
Yeah, you can say that. You can say it's my favorite. You can say it's the only one that sticks, Yeah, it's the one that sticks because it's the one that you like. Yeah. Or it's the one that you find valuable.
What's more that just a few people on Helltop like you, like someone else, I don't tell the name.
No. That's okay.
You guys.
No, I don't even care. I don't even care. I'm not here to compete. I'm not here to compete. I'm not here to be the best. I'm here to be me. That's it. I'm here to be me. So everybody else who's, it's weird. Like, if there's another teacher here who's good, great. Great. Why would I be bothered by that? No, I'm not bothered by that. I want you to have every great teacher that you can have.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Yeah. Well, at least that guy or that person probably released the overload. So a lot of your chat box right now is kind of blowing up of comments. Yeah. So you and that people can share followers to make the stream not so overload.
Sure. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. So what can I do for you today, Sergey? Did you have a question for me?
Yeah, I have a question. This is my here's my headache.
Okay,
yeah.
All right, okay. What's this headache? How can I help?
Really, I was really stressed. Okay, anyway, yeah. So here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, here's a 4 verbs. Yeah, 4 verbs, and they have the same idea, but what? Okay, I just go over.
Go ahead.
Okay. To deal with, to manage, to handle, to work out.
Mm-hmm. You want to know the difference?
Yeah. So and especially to manage and to handle, they are really the same, I guess.
They are the same.
So.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, they come from the same etymology. To handle something is about your hands. To handle, that's what it means. To put your hand on something and control it. And the word manage comes from the word manual, and manual comes from the word manus, and manus means hand. So when you manage something, you're controlling it. When you handle something, you're also controlling it. So if I say, hey, I could say, hey, maybe I have a teacher and he's having trouble because his class is always out of control, right? So I'll say, hey, you need to manage your class better, or you need to handle your class better. Same thing. Okay? It just means you need to handle this situation. You need to manage this situation. Means you need to do something that you're in control of to control this situation, right? That's to manage or to handle. And what were the other ones?
Okay, to deal with. I guess to deal with is something you have a plan, you have circumstances, and you have to solve it. So this is kind of, I have to deal with that.
That's right. Yeah, if you have a problem, then you have to deal with that problem. Okay, so make a deal. Like you want to sell your car and I want to buy your car. So we're going to make a deal, right? That means I have to talk to you to make that deal. I have to deal with you. Right? And my problem is that I want to buy the car. So when you talk about dealing with something, you're saying this is a problem and I have to do something to fix it. That's dealing with it. Right? Just like if I want to buy something from you, then I have to talk to you. So then I have to deal with you. So maybe I could say, Sergey, maybe I want to buy something from your company. And you're my friend. And so I say to you, hey, who should I deal with when I call? Should I talk to Betty or should I talk to Tom? And you'll say, oh, deal with Tom. Definitely. Tom is nicer. Betty's kind of rude. Right? So that means that's who I should talk to. That's who I should try to work with. That's who I should deal with. That's who I should make a deal with. Okay?
Yeah, but you mentioned just do business. It's just about business?
No, deal with just means any problem, right? But a deal is often business, right? When we make a deal, right?
It comes from the deal.
That's right.
Deal.
There was a TV show when I was younger. Let's make a deal, and it was all about like buying something, right? You have to negotiate, right? I'll pay this much money. No, I'll pay this much money. Let's make a deal. Let's come together and figure it out, right? So the word deal is just talking about some kind of a situation where you have to come to some sort of an agreement about something, right? So when I say deal with it, that means you have a problem and you have to do something about that problem. Right? So the word deal sometimes is talking about business, like let's make a deal. And then sometimes it's about a problem that you have to handle or manage, deal with. Okay? Deal with it, right? So let me think of another way to put it. Like if somebody calls me and I'm teaching, and maybe I have some students and they're fighting. And I'll say, hey, I have to let you go. I have to go. I have to deal with a problem. My students are fighting. I have to deal with it, right? So that's the problem. That's what I have to fix, okay? So in this case, deal is a problem. Sometimes deal is a business deal, okay?
And the way I see it about workout, when you probably done, you done something, so the problem on the situation, you handle it.
Yeah.
How can I say?
Yeah. Right. See, that's what I mean. Yeah. But look, that's the way these words work. All of these words are interchangeable. So yes, you're going to say manage, you're going to say handle, you're going to say deal with, you're going to say work it out, because they're all the same. They are all the same. Okay. In most cases, these are interchangeable. Sergey, many words in English are like this, where in most cases they're interchangeable, but maybe there are a few contexts where this one is the one that you should use only in this context. You should always use this one, or only in this context you should always use this one. But in most contexts, doesn't matter. Whatever you want. Use deal with, use work it out. So I could say, I have to go because I have some students are fighting. I have to deal with it. I have to go because some students are fighting. I have to manage it. I have to go because some students are fighting. I have to work it out. Like, technically, those all could be fine. Okay? But there are some that maybe I think this would be a better one to use. Deal with is better. If there are two students fighting, deal with is better. But maybe two people who are arguing, like if you and I have an argument, I'll say, hey, man, can't we work it out? Let's work it out. Let's talk about it and find a solution. That means to work it out. To do the work to find a solution is to work it out.
That means there is some exceptions, right?
For work it out?
Yeah, for work it out.
Yeah, work it out is one that I would use more about coming to an agreement about something, like a problem, like a disagreement, right? Let's work it out. Like you have one idea and I have one idea. We don't agree. Let's talk about it. Let's work it out. right? Or maybe there's a problem at your work, right? And your boss says, hey, this month our sales are down. There seems to be a problem in the warehouse. Can we find a way to work it out? Let's figure out how to work it out. That means find the problem, solve it, you know? So like I said, Sergey, in most cases, these are interchangeable. There are only a few situations where I would say this one is probably better, but that doesn't mean you couldn't use the other ones. It's just this one is more like, it's just the one that sounds better.
Sounds better, yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds better.
And that's what you need to think about, Sergey. Language is like music, man. I like rock music and I like jazz music. They both sound good to me, but not everybody likes jazz music. Some people don't like the sound of jazz music, right? So that's the same in language. Some people like the sound of let's work it out. I like that. Let's work it out. I like that one. I'm going to say that one. But some people like the sound of let's deal with it, right? So style. This is about style, right? If you like that one more, fine. Use that one. Okay, and remember, Sergey, in language, here's my rule as a teacher.
Okay.
You can break the rules anytime you want, as long as you know what the rule is, and you can defend what you said. So if you can explain it, and you can tell me why you said it that way, and you know the correct way, then I don't care what you do. Because that's your style. That's your style of speaking. As long as you know the answer and you know the correct way, language is more like an art, man. It's not a science, it's not a math. It's more like an art. It's poetry, right? So the words that I like are the words that I like. That does not mean they're the only ones or the only correct ones. Okay, there are always other ways to say things. That's like music. I could play this song this way, or I could play it this way. If you get 100 people together to play the same song, they might play it 100 different ways. Right? So that's language and music they do have some style that's personal. Okay? But personal style comes after you learn the rules. Once you learn all the rules and you know the rules, then you can say, here's the rules. They're written on this piece of paper. Oh, now I know the rules? Oh, okay. All right? Once you know the rules, you can break the rules. But if you don't know the rules, then you're just wrong. Okay?
Well, yeah, you're right. And because I'm beginner, I can't prove it yet. I can't prove it. Still, I can't prove it. So I probably will not focus on it. I will not focus on it.
Don't worry about it too much, man. Don't worry about it. Just, things like this question that you have, first of all, it's not a problem because if you choose any one of those, probably people are going to understand you. It's not like if you choose one, they're going to be like, huh? What? I don't know what you mean. No, they're probably going to understand you, but maybe it's just not the way they're used to hearing it, right? So in this case, definitely don't worry about it. And what I want you to do is this is the perfect example of where if you want to know what the right one is, just say them all and you'll find out. You'll find out. Somebody will
it's
say,
like lottery.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a lottery. So I'm telling you that they're all good choices. They're all pretty good. And then you can use one and you'll find out. You'll say, oh, look, this was the right one to use for this situation. They knew what I mean, right? Or maybe they'll say, oh, you'll say, let's work it out, but you mean let's make a deal. Oh, then they'll tell you, oh, you mean let's make a deal. Right? And then you'll learn, oh, that's the right one, right? That's how language is learned. Sometimes you have to stumble and fall and get back up in order to know how to walk. All right? So now you know all of them. Go ahead and walk and stumble. And if you stumble and fall, get back up. You'll be fine. Okay?
Yeah. Okay. Here's another one more
Okay.
question.
Sure.
It's not really question. It's okay. I like the idiom. But I still learning it. Let me see. Yeah. I just wanna tell you there's the idiom in my country, in my place where I live. Yeah. So I just tell you your idiom and then mine. Yeah.
Okay.
So the idiom is don't count your chickens before they are hatched, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here's mine, and because mine is in my language, right?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, I just tell you,
You gotta translate. Yeah.
this idiom in English word for word, okay?
Right.
Word for word.
Yeah.
Don't say hop until you have jumped over it. It means it came from circus, yeah, acrobats. What is this? Wait.
Don't make a jump until what?
Until don't say hop. Hop is the special this special word.
Okay.
Don't say hop until you have jumped over it. Over what? Trapeze. Okay, trapeze. Circus.
Yeah.
Okay, circus acrobat. They jump. They swing on trapeze, and then let go when they reach the moment. Yeah, they found the moment. They touch the moment. They let go and fly to another trapeze. Yeah, and when they reach when they get it, they crowd up.
Yeah.
Hop.
Right. So guess what, Sergey? This idiom, almost every culture has an idiom like this that's similar. Like that's the way you say it. And look, in Farsi they say don't count your chicks before the end of autumn, and in French they say don't sell the bear's skin before you killed it, and in Spanish they say don't sell the bear's skin before hunting it, and in German they say you should not praise the day before the evening, and in Italian they say don't say cat if you don't have it in the bag. Like there's so many variations on this same idea of like you shouldn't celebrate before you're done. Right? You shouldn't celebrate before you're finished, right? That's basically the idea. Yeah. It happens all the time in America. Like there'll be somebody, right? They're running a marathon. And they're right at the end and they're celebrating. They're like, oh, I'm running. I'm going to win. And then some other guy comes running up behind them and wins, right? Because they were so busy celebrating that they weren't paying attention that there's somebody still running and they lost. And we always, in America, we love that. When that happens, we're always like, look at what you did, man. All you had to do was finish the race, and then you can celebrate. But there's always somebody who's like, oh, I'm going to do it, but they celebrate early.
If you don't follow this idiom, you just messed up. You end up messing up.
That's right. Yeah. But this idiom, there are so many idioms that are cross-cultural, Sergey. They have
the same idea, right?
Yeah.
But how they make it,
what
examples.
That's why it's so interesting, because the examples are always so interesting. They're always so historically interesting, right? The fact that it's from the circus, that's awesome. That's really awesome, because that's Russian history. That's part of the Russian history, right? So that's really, really interesting that yours comes from that background, right? That's why language is so fun, because you can see how these ideas exist across cultures. You can see when maybe your culture got one idea from my culture and then you took it and used it, or the other way around, that I got an idea from your culture, now we use it, right? It happens all the time. People just don't realize, because the truth is almost nobody really knows anything about history. Almost nobody. They really don't know anything about history. Maybe you know a little bit about your own cultural history. but that's the only history you know. But guess what, guys? History doesn't happen by culture. History happens by time. Time doesn't care what culture you have. So what I mean is, when you look at history, you have to think about history based on people, not based on culture. And what that means is, you can look at the history of music. And if I look at the history of music, I will find relationships across the world, right? So that, for example, like jazz music, where does jazz music come from? It's American. It was created here, but it was created by slaves who were brought here from Africa. And they didn't have their own instruments, so they had to use whatever instruments they had. And the instruments they had were Western instruments from the orchestra. So they used a mix of Western music and African music, and they put them together, and you get jazz, right? And so all of this, when you look at the history, you find
historical heritage.
Yeah,
historical heritage.
yeah. The heritage is about people. It's not about countries. It's about people. So, you know, food, for example, right? Like, if you go to Mexico, in Mexico, they have one kind of taco that's called al pastor. Al pastor tacos. Let me show you what those look like. Take a look at this. What does this look like to everybody in the chat? Tell me what this looks like. Does this look Mexican to you? Let me zoom in. Hold on, I'll make it bigger for you. What's that? What's that right there? Can you see that? What is this? Anybody? What's it look like? It's meat, but what kind of meat? That looks like shawarma. It looks like shawarma. It looks like doner. It looks like shawarma,
okay.
right? But it's in Mexico. How did that happen? I'll tell you how that happened. Many, 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 many years ago, a family from Lebanon moved to Mexico, and they brought the idea of the shawarma to Mexico. But in Mexico, they had to change it a little bit because of the new culture and new people. So they changed the meat and they changed the spices, and they just used the same idea, but they used it there, right? So that's where culture, like I said, that's from Lebanon. That's from the Middle East. but now it's one of the most popular kinds of tacos. And even the people who eat it, they don't know that that comes from the Middle East. Okay, in my city has a famous food. It's called Skyline Chili. It's a very, very special kind of a meat sauce, and this meat sauce comes from a family that was an immigrant family that came to my city, and they are from Macedonia. Macedonia is the area. Macedonia is it's like above Greece. Northern Greece is Macedonia, right? And that family brought their food and their recipes to America, and then they combined it with cheese from America and with pasta from Italy, and now we have this special food that's really only here in my city. It's only here. But where does it come from? It's a mix of traditions and cultures from, right? So that's why I mean, when you look at language, when you look at music, when you look at food, when you look at fashion, when you look at culture, you have to look at it from the point of history of the world, not just history of your culture. Because we have mixed. Everybody, we have mixed. There are things that we do, right, that you don't realize that we have mixed cultures, right? Like right now, you're speaking English. I'm speaking English, right? 50 years ago when I was a boy, this was almost impossible.
Yeah.
Okay?
Long of the internet, yeah.
Yeah, things have changed, right? And so I listen to music from all over the world, and I eat food from all over the world.
Yeah.
You know, and I read books from all over the world.
That's how I met with, not met, that's how I, that's how I met or bumped into rock and roll before. No internet, I just watched TV show just, they brought us what they want, yeah. So
Yeah.
I really didn't know about rock and roll and stuff. Now I'm diving into.
Yeah.
I can find any.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great? That's wonderful, isn't it? Right? And that's how rock and roll was. Rock and roll started in the 1950s in America, right? But then it became a world thing. All of a sudden, in the 1960s, in Britain, all of a sudden it was called the British Invasion. It was a huge thing where all these rock bands happened. And then in the 1970s, it moved. Well, there was some in America, but then rock and roll became famous all over the world. Now there's bands in Europe that are playing rock and roll, and then, right? So it just became, people saw it and they said, wow, that looks like fun. I want to do that too, right? You know, like I want to do that too. And they did. That's why I love music. Music is just, you know, it's not something that music is for everyone. Music is for everyone.
And plus, music is like the common language. You know, we sing the song together.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one.
That's right.
Song.
Yeah. Music is just sound. It's just like we're talking right now. That's why I think language is music. You should think about language is just like music. Okay? And when you make great music, you think about how can I make sound that will make people understand my feelings? And that's the same as language. How can I make sound that will make people understand my feelings? That's the same thing, right? And if you're a great musician, then you know that sometimes you need to be loud and sometimes you need to be soft, and sometimes you need to go slow and sometimes you need to go fast, and sometimes it should be very, very quick notes, lots and lots and lots of notes, and sometimes it should be more slow like this, right? And that's why you listen to me, everybody. That's why you listen to me. Because when I speak, I think about language like music. I'm trying to make words that sound good to hear. I'm trying to make sounds that are pleasant to hear. That's it. That's language.
And I mean, I will tell. Okay, like you and someone else in this application, we have to give you credit for what are you doing, because so that's probably you not you using your time, being here, and you go through, because a lot of students, it's really complicated, and it's really hard to keep conversation in the way you want, how it should be, right? Mm-hmm. So
Sergey, if you want to be good at something, then you have to do it, right? It's like an activity that you have to do, right? So if you want to be good at music, then you have to do music a lot to be good at music, right? So teaching is the same way, right? And so, it really does bother me in some ways when people, they don't understand why I do this. They don't understand, like, you're not getting paid money, you're not making money, so why are you doing this? And it makes me sad, to be honest with you. It makes me sad because that's like, if you have a talent, shouldn't you share it? A talent is a gift. When you have a talent is not something that you just, talent is not something to exploit the world. Talent is a gift that you give to the world.
Yeah, you share your talent and makes the world a little bit better.
Yeah. So if
The
you
world
have,
is so big.
if you have a talent, you should share it with the world. Talent isn't something that you should say, well, I have a talent, so I'm going to exploit the world with my talent. No. Talent is there because it's a gift. You are given a gift, and you can give that gift. So if you know how to cook really well, then you can cook and make people happy. People will be like, wow, that was amazing. That food was incredible, right? If you can teach, then you can help people, and that will make them happy. If you can play an instrument, then play that instrument and make people happy, right? So why does a painter paint? Why does a painter paint? They don't do it to make money. No painter sits down and says, oh, I need to pay my rent, so I'm going to paint something today. No, they paint because they need to paint. They paint because they have a talent and they want to share it. They want to give it as a gift to the world. So when I'm here, I love teaching because I love helping people find the way. I love that feeling I get when I say something and you go, oh. Like, I love that feeling of like, I helped you get through the woods. It was dark and it was scary, but I helped you get through the woods, you know? And then now you're on your own. And I'll tell you what, Sergey, it's an even better feeling when I help somebody get through the woods and now they're on their own. Now they can do it by themselves. They don't even need a guide like me. That's the best feeling when you're a teacher, when you teach somebody until they can teach themselves.
And this type of volunteering, let's say volunteering, inspire people to do the same things, yeah?
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
But I don't like the word volunteering. I don't like that word only because I don't want people to think about this like it's work. It is a job. It is a job, and it is something that you should respect, right? If somebody is a teacher and they care about what they do, then yeah, you should respect it, and you should respect them. But when I'm teaching, I don't like to think about it like a volunteer. I like to think about it like a gift. Like, this is a gift that I can give you. You know, I can help you with something, and that will make you feel better. And here's the other thing, Sergey. The one thing that I really like to do in my class is I like to give people the feeling that you can do it. Because when I was a boy and I was a student, many, many times I had the feeling that you can't do it. Teachers made me feel, you can't do this.
Something held you back, yeah?
Yeah, but sometimes
no progress, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and there are some teachers that would make you feel like you can't do it. They're not trying to help you through the woods. They're telling you the path, but they're not actually helping you through. Right? Like, I remember I had a math class when I was younger, and I was never really good. I've never been great at math. And in this class, I wanted to understand. I really, really did. But my teacher, it was almost like she knew a joke, and she understood, and she thought it's really funny, but you don't understand the joke. But she doesn't care that you don't understand. She understands. She thinks it's funny. And she goes, oh, well, that's too bad you don't understand because this is a really funny joke. You know, it's like, wait a minute. That's your job, is to help me understand the joke. But not every teacher is like that. I had many teachers that made me feel like this is a joke that you'll never understand. So I like to feel like I can give you a feeling that, you know what? You can do this. You can do something. But maybe you never felt that way before. Maybe nobody ever let you feel like, if you try, you can. That's why, Sergey, sometimes when I'm here, sometimes I'll tell people, you know what? You could be great. You could be great, but you will never know.
Before you try, yeah. If you not try, yeah.
Yeah, because people come here and they say, how can I learn English the fastest? How can I do it with the least amount of work? Is there a secret trick? And when they're saying that, every time you say that, you're saying, I don't want to be great. I can't be great. I can't be great. I just want to cheat. I'm going to cheat. I'm going to find a cheating way because I can't be great. I'm not a great person, but I'm telling you that if you ever tried, maybe you could be, but you never try, because here's the thing. When I was a boy, I learned that in school, they taught me that learning is an act of efficiency.
What is that?
To be efficient. Efficient means to do something with the least amount of work or effort. Right? That's efficient, right? But guess what, guys? Learning is not an act of efficiency. No, there are many things in this world where you should do it with efficiency. You should try to get done with the least amount of work, and you should try to be quick, right? Many things in life are like that. But learning is not one of those things. Learning is not an act of efficiency. Learning is an act of proficiency. And the word efficient means I can get it done quickly with little energy. That's efficient. Proficiency means I know it well. That's the difference. So when I learn, I don't try to learn efficiently. No, it's not about how fast you do it, and it's not about how lazy you are. It's about how well you know. So are you trying to get to the top of the mountain the fastest, or are you trying to know the mountain? That's what I tell people. Some people, they're just trying to climb to the top of the mountain as quickly as they can. But for me, I don't care how fast I get to the top. What I care about is, do I know this mountain? I know all of this mountain, every little bit of this mountain. I know it. Okay? It's not about getting to the top of the mountain faster. It's about knowing the mountain. Okay?
I remember when something, the phrase pops into my head. This didn't happen overnight.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah.
No.
It built over years, yeah.
It does, but see, that's what happens. See, why do people think learning is an act of efficiency? Because of school. Because in school, when you go to school, they make it an act of efficiency because they have to, right? So when you're in school, you have to take a test. You have a time limit, and you have to finish this chapter by this week, right? So in school, they have to do things by efficiency. And so then you learn that, learning is always supposed to be efficient. You're supposed to do it the fastest way you can with the least amount of work, right? No. No, it's when you get out of school, now you don't have a time limit. Now there are no tests. So now you can study and try to actually learn. You can study and actually try to know something, not just to remember the answer, but to understand. And the word understand is a word I always like to explain because people don't know what the word means. The word understand, the word under, many people...
you told it.
Yeah.
So under is something in the middle. Stay in the middle.
That's right. Now the meaning of under is always talking about below something is under, right? That's the meaning now. But a long time ago, a couple hundred years ago, the meaning of under was not just below something, it was also in the middle of something. in the midst or in the middle of something. So when you understand something, it's like you are standing in the middle of it and you can see it clearly. So now you understand, right? And that makes sense. That's like, that's the difference between knowing the answer. Okay, I know the answer. A, B, C. That's knowing the answer. That's just knowing the answer. Understanding is when you're there and it's like, oh, I get it now. I see everything clearly. I get it now. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, so knowing the answer doesn't improve you, while, yeah.
That's right.
So,
There's knowing a fact is one thing, but being able
that's nice, but
Right.
you're not developing it.
That's right, but you have to apply that fact. You have to understand, why is that fact important? Right? So I didn't learn how to learn until after school. When I got out of school, that's when I learned how to learn. Before that, I was trying to pass a test every time. I wasn't even trying to learn. I was always just trying to pass a test. But now, when I learn, there's no... If I want to know something, it's for the benefit of me. It's not for the benefit of anything else. It's for my benefit. You know, and it's for my development, right? So the more I know about the world, the more I can try to understand about the world. But the less I know, the less I can understand.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. At school, you were lack of experience, right? Something brought you, yes, but then you enter the adult world of responsibilities.
Yeah, but you know, the funny thing is though, like, I feel lucky because for many people, you finish school and then you get a job, and because your job is so busy, you don't have time to learn anymore. And so you basically, you never got a chance to learn. You went to school and you finished school and you took the tests and you got the answers, but you never actually had a chance to learn. And now you have a job and your job is so stressful that you don't have time to learn now either.
Yeah.
And sometimes, Sergey, sometimes that's not an accident. Learning, you know, like, you know what they say, Sergey, is, you know what we say in America is, they're never going to give you the education you need to overthrow your government. So what that means is they're never going to teach you the things that might make them at risk. Right?
Okay.
So the only way for you to learn those things is if you learn them by yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're not going to teach them to you. Right? And now I'm not trying to tell everybody that that's the purpose of learning. No, but I'm just trying to tell you that, like, look, this is about personal responsibility. That's what that phrase is about. That phrase means that if you let somebody else be responsible for your education, then you're putting a lot of trust in them, because that means that you're trusting them to teach you everything that's true and everything that is right. How do you know? Right? But that's why, I can't remember who was it. I want to say it was...
the quote that you said?
There's a quote about how school is only meant to teach you how to teach yourself. And if it doesn't do that, then it didn't do anything. And I am lucky because I did learn how to teach myself right after I finished school. I was lucky I did learn how to teach myself. But many people, I think 80% or more, they never actually learn how to teach themselves. They learn education, and education is just a bunch of facts that somebody told them. But education is not just facts that somebody tells you. Education is the ability to learn. Education is the ability to go find the right answers.
The thing is, when we are teenagers at school, we can't. We have no. We have no chances to take on responsibilities or something because everything control us that time. And for example, you when you finished your school, you probably turn out to be in the right time, in the right place.
I was lucky because when I finished my school, I became a professional musician. And guess what? When you're a professional musician, you are now you're independent. That's on your own. That's so that means that like you're not being told what to do anymore. You're doing what you want.
The music makes you to put efforts, improve yourself.
So when I was 18, that's when I started teaching drums. Okay, I started teaching drums when I was 18 years old. And I think that it was those first few years when I really learned about how important it is that I know how to teach myself. Because I had students that they don't know how to learn. How is that possible? And I did that because I learned drumming. And I had great teachers. I had the best teachers in the world, really. And they taught me a system of learning. They taught me a system of how can you master this thing? If you want to master this thing, then you need a system. And here's a great system. And so what I do here, Sergey, I do the same thing. All I do is I just give you a system for learning. And many people just never had a system, and they don't know how to make a system, and they'd never seen a system before. But when you have a system, it makes learning anything much, much easier. So that's why after I learned how to play the drums, now I have a system, and guess what? I used that same system to teach myself Chinese.
So it's possible to put it in any way, in knowledge.
It's a template.
It's kind of, let's say it's kind of I forget the is it pattern? No, pattern, no, wait.
That's okay, take your time.
No, let me check it.
Take your time.
It's template, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the word I said. Yeah, template. A template, yeah. A template is something that you use to make another one, right? Yeah. That's right, yeah. You know what's funny, Sergey? You know the word pattern? Pattern. A pattern. P-A-T-T-E-R-N. Yeah, it's like a template. A template and a pattern are almost the same thing, right? So if I have a pattern is something that I can use to do another one. Right? Well, the word pattern comes from the word pater. Pater comes from the word father, because your father is a good pattern for you. And the word matter, what is matter? Matter is everything in the universe, right? And where does the word matter come from? Mater, the word mother, because that's everything in the universe that's from the mother. So if it's a pattern, that comes from the father. If it's that's the matrix. Also, the matrix, that's from the word mother. Yeah. So anyway, so Sergey, it was nice to talk to you. It's always nice to have somebody that has good questions. You know, that's really, if you want to see me do what I do, you have to ask me good questions. If you ask me a question like, how can I be good at English? I can't help you. But if you ask me these kinds of questions, if you talk to me and you ask me the right questions, then I can give you a gift, the gift of understanding. I can tell you something that you haven't heard before, and you'll say, oh. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah. And that's what I love to do. I love to give the gift of, oh.
never know that how it sounds.
That's the right gift. That's it. Oh, yeah, he's right. Oh, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Like, there's sounds. Sound is funny that way, right? If I say, oh, now you understand. But if I say, that means I don't know, right? So, oh,
That's how caveman.
That's right. That's right.
communicated.
You know what's so funny is I just heard something yesterday that I learned that I thought was really interesting. The word mother is almost the same across the world. Every culture has some sound that's like ma, mama, mama, whatever. They're all the same.
The prefix, the prefix the same. The prefix.
And do you know why? It's because when you're a baby, this is really interesting. The etymology of the word mama is because when you're a baby, what's the first sound that you can make? You go like this.
I don't remember.
I'll tell you what. The first sound you make is you open your mouth and you just go ah. But the second sound you make is when your mouth comes together. Ma. So babies, every baby across the world, the first sound babies make is ma. So throughout history, all across the world, every baby has made that sound. And then we thought, oh, that must mean mother. They want the mother because they're saying ma. So the word mother actually comes from just the first possible sounds that humans make. That's why it's the same everywhere. There are only a couple of cultures where the word mother is different. But every other culture, the word mother is something similar to ma or mama. And it's because babies, that's what babies do. Ma. They're experimenting. They're playing with the sound. And the first sound that they can play with easily is that sound, ma. That's really interesting to me because every other word, all of the other words, they all come from somewhere, some root. But this is the only word that comes from the possibility of sound. Just the first easiest sounds to make. That's it. Yeah.
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 That's simple, but simple and brilliant.
It's simple and brilliant. And again, it's another example of why I told you that when I think about language, I don't think about one culture. I think about the world because of that. Because of that right there. There's an example of how we are humans. So mother means the same thing everywhere. Why? Because every baby in the world, ma. Every baby, everybody in this room, everybody can imagine a baby from your culture going ma, right? Every single person, you can all think about a baby in your country doing that because they all do. Because we are on one planet. You know what? There's one other word that I think is very interesting. It's the word earth. Earth is a word that it's very, very, very old. And guess what? It's one of the only words that nobody knows where this word comes from. It has existed for a long time, the word earth, but nobody has any idea of where this word actually comes from. Every other word we can find some path of history, but this word we can't. We cannot find, but it's there, and everybody knows this same word, earth. We learned this word, right? So it's very strange. Mama, earth, These are the kinds of things that make you realize that, yeah, we are all one people on one big rock flying through space. That's the best way to think about what we do here on Earth. It's nice to know your country, it's nice to know your culture, but you must remember that your country is on the planet Earth, and we are all on that planet. That's really the thing we should all be thinking about right now. You know, it's the better way if we all think about the fact that we all, put it this way, if I go to your country, there will be many foods that I don't know, right? But I know many of them will be delicious. Because delicious is universal. I can go to any country and there will be delicious food. It doesn't matter where I go. There will be something that's like, oh my God, that's good. Like, I really want more of that, right? And just like that, there might be some foods that I don't like, right? So that's because this is a human experience, you know, and I think that part of being a human is learning that you are a human and that you need to improve yourself as a human, not as a Kazakh or as an American or as a, you have to improve yourself as a human. As a human. You know, that's the most basic simple thing. We have a job on this earth. Whatever you were yesterday, be better today. That's your job. Your job is to figure out how you can be better today than you were yesterday. Your job is not to be better than other people. Your job is to be better than you yesterday.
Yeah, then and now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So, Sergey, I'm going to let you go because it's been a while, and I think I need to wrap things up here. But it's really been great to talk to you. I always enjoy it.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's really great. And yeah, come back anytime, man. Like I said, that's the only thing is, if you want to come on my stage, I just have that one rule, which is just that I think it's better if you come on my stage after you've been a part of my room for a while. Because then you know what we're doing here, and you understand that you're part of a classroom. Because every time I do a live stream, there are some people who just want to come talk to me, and they don't care about anybody else in the room. They just want their own answers and their own, you know what I mean? I don't like, so that's why I don't like that. So that's why I just want people to join my classroom for a few times and watch and listen. And if I see you in the room and I know you're participating and you care and you're trying to learn, then yes, then I will help you. You know, then I will bring...
let people keep in mind. Let people keep in mind.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, okay. But thank you so much for coming on my stage, Sergey, and I will see you next time. Okay, my friend?
Yeah, next time. See you.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care, my friend. Bye-bye. All right. And guys, it has been almost 3 hours that I've been here, and I'm tired of standing. So before I go, I'm going to give my my file one more time here. Everything that you need to know about me is in this file here. Okay, everything you need to know about me is in this file. If you want to know my schedule, it's in this file. If you want to know my YouTube channel or my blog or my website, it's in this file. If you want to know whatever, everything that you need to know about me is in this file. So please copy that link and paste it to your browser and open it, and you can read about me, okay? I have been on this app for more than 12 years. And I have about 90,000 followers here. I am a real English teacher, and I'm here Monday through Friday. So if you are serious about learning, you can come and join and watch and listen and ask good questions. Okay? All right, that's going to be it for me today. Yeah, 3 hours. Okay, but thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good morning. Have a good afternoon. Have a good evening. Have a good weekend. And I will see you guys later. I may come back to play some drums in a little bit after I eat some lunch. I might come back and play. music, because I love music. So sometimes I play music. Okay? If I am standing here in front of this camera, then I am teaching English. If I am back there behind those drums, I'm not teaching English. Just understand. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. I'll see you guys next time. All right. Bye.